Well, the economy was built very much on three pillars. One was property, which by some estimates was a quarter or a third of the economy. And a huge property bubble took shape, which not only involved speculation in property, which was tied to ever rising prices, but massive debts among local governments. No one knows how much because a lot of it's hidden. Because they relied upon selling land to the developers. They obtained the land by stealing it from the farmers. It was sort of a vicious and surreal circle of debt. But you had the property crisis and the bubble bursting in the last 2 or 3 years, which have seen sales and prices fall quite sharply. Then you have the second pillar, which was this massive investment in infrastructure in China, from airports to roads to trains, and there's diminishing returns in that because there's only so much money you can throw at that. Then there's the cheap exports, which flooded out of China,
made in China.
Yeah, and that is that. I think even Chinese economists regard that as unsustainable, and they want to shift to what they call a more innovation-driven economy, an economy which depends more on higher quality growth, as they put it. They want to have more consumption in the economy because Chinese consumers, compared with America or here, is a small proportion of the economy. But the problem with all that is it implies that you give more power to the market, to your and they are successful Chinese technological companies, but these are companies that have been targeted. Entrepreneurs have simply disappeared or been removed. And the party, or Xi Jinping's obsession with control, runs completely contrary to what most economists regard to be the necessary moves to get the economy moving and to change the dynamic of the economy. The problem as well is you've got endemic corruption. I mean, a lot of the corruption that takes place in China, well, the difficulty with taking corruption out of the system is hard when corruption is the system. And when corruption campaigns have become thinly disguised purges against political opponents. And this is a very difficult atmosphere to make that kind of transformation, to change the way the economy operates. And one of the figures which I find quite significant is the soaring rates of youth unemployment, which by some measures, well, they went up to about 20% last year, at which point they stopped publishing them. Because no one likes good news, and especially not the CCP. So you stop publishing them. Then they began again after a few months, recalculating the way they did it without really saying how that was. And even now they're creeping back up again. This is mainly graduates because there was such a big expansion of Chinese colleges. But the problem is, this comes back to your point about political stability, is you've almost had this unwritten rule in China, this pact, whereby the party would deliver growth, the party would deliver stability, and in return for that, you had political docility. People didn't question the party. You embrace the economic opportunities we're giving you, but just leave the politics to us. And one question is whether that breaks down, because if you're in a situation where the party is no longer delivering those rates of growth and where you're getting more instability, it starts to challenge the legitimacy of the party, because the party's legitimacy doesn't rest on elections. It's not electoral democratic legitimacy. It's what's been dubbed performance legitimacy. So you judge us on what we deliver, and if you're not delivering anymore, then that brings into doubt, or potentially brings into doubt, the legitimacy of the party.
There's a lot of people that bought homes that have never been built, right? And the money's gone and stuff. It's not just, oh, my house has lost 10% on paper. It's people who've...
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal. You have these huge conurbations of ghost cities across China, which are places which have been built entirely on speculation, a lot of them of which have been bought, but no one lives in them. Then on top of that, you've got people estimated 30 million. The empty homes is maybe 50, 60 million. So you're getting on towards 100 million homes. So that's almost one for everybody in the UK. or more than one from everyone in the UK. But you have a situation where people now have put down deposits because they tend to buy off plan, and you have houses that have not been completed, houses that have not been built, people very much in limbo, lots of resentment. And this isn't a great atmosphere where you can say, look, we want you to spend more because we want more consumption in the economy.
I hope you enjoyed that. It was a clip from our episode with journalist Ian Williams about the economy of China. To watch the full episode, click right here. What?
The economy of China.